2. Now you gotta pull it out of fire. Come on, Leon, man. You gotta come on, Leon. Let's go.
Just because you're talented, it doesn't mean you're bound to get the respect you deserve. The UFC London event held in March 2019 was considered a chance for several local talents to showcase their skills on a global platform. Despite this, most of the attention was centered around a rising star from UK, Darren Till.
Leon Edwards was fighting Gunnar Nelson. Masvidal was fighting Darren Till in the main event. Darren and Leon, they were having a little bit of beef.
Right now in England, I'm the number one.
You're not number one?
Well, I am on the main event, mate.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're not on my level, Till.
Yeah, what?
You're not on my level.
Leon, do you think I'm scared of you?
I don't give a f*** if you're scared or not. Do I care?
Oh,
I don't
you're scared because you're saying I don't want to fight you.
If a man's calling me out for like what, about a year now, I'm fighting him.
It's the Darren Till show.
Does anybody have the Wi-Fi password?
He wasn't the main attraction. He'd done more in the UFC at that point than Darren had.
When he came out on fight night and he's getting booed by his home fans, that must have really stung Leon, and he didn't deserve it.
Nevertheless, Leon Edwards seized the opportunity and secured an impressive victory against the established Gunnar Nelson. In contrast, Darren Till suffered a devastating knockout loss to Jorge Masvidal on the same night. However, the headlines that emerged on Sunday morning following the UFC London event were focused on Jorge Masvidal's physical attack on Leon Edwards backstage.
Backstage, just walking.
He was walking like this, looking at me and like pacing back and forth. And he asked me something about a date.
You're doing an interview with me and you, July.
Let's talk about that opening sequence.
Maybe not.
And then he tells me to shut up. I can't take that.
Hey, come over here.
He's like walking over with his hands behind his back and then just threw shots. Masvidal was on top of the world and Leon was kind of getting left in the shadows.
Understandably, Leon felt disrespected, and this incident added to the almighty chip on his shoulder. By this point, Leon was very comfortable being counted out.
I was born in Kingston, Jamaica, from a mom that had me when she was 15 years old. In the area I grew up in, there was like gang wars. My area, my dad was the leader of the gang. Being around like crime and guns and shooting. So when I was young, I was looking up to my dad. Everyone respected him. Everyone treated me with respect because of him. So as a kid, he inspired to be like that. Came to the UK at the age of 9. My dad came first, but my dad ended up getting murdered when I was 13. I was close to my dad, and when he got killed, I got a phone call late. I could hear my mum crying on the phone. When he passed, I just remember the switch. I just moved to a new country. My dad got killed in that country we moved to. Single mom, so you gotta like figure it out. I always thought when I was young that I was gonna like follow into his footsteps, whether it's gang life, whatever I was gonna do it to the fullest. The trauma of it, like drove me down into gangs and same shit that he was into. From there, went on like a bad spiral. I was always getting like either arrested for knives and getting into street fights. I was walking to the bus stop with my mum and she suggested there's a gym getting built in my area where I grew up, and she was like, you should try this out. She suggested MMA. I was like, cool, I'll give it a go for you.
With a new direction, Leon turned away from the life of crime, focusing himself on his work, on his desire to become the greatest martial artist he could be. As it turned out, he was a natural, and less than 5 years after turning pro, he found himself standing opposite the fighter who would one day provide him the key to global recognition, Kamaru Usman. After being a standout wrestler on a collegiate level, Kamaru followed the advice of his friends and Black Zillion's training partner Rashad Evans and pursued a career in mixed martial arts.
That first fight with Leon Edwards, I was merely a wrestler trying to compete in mixed martial arts.
The first time I fought Kamaru, my whole camp was about defending his wrestling, and it was more like a defensive mindset more than what I need to do to him to win.
There was glimpses in the fight, in the stand-up, Leon was starting to get the better of him, and Kamaru just resorted to what he knew, which was the wrestling.
He was a good fighter. He implemented his game well.
Kamaru Usman, up until that point, had stopped everybody as well, by the way. That was his first ever decision that Leon Edwards extended him to.
Leon fought Kamaru early in his UFC career, and as a result, the more experienced and seasoned fighter won the contest with little issue.
He was the better man that night, appreciative for the loss, and he's made me a better person. It forced me to improve, it forced me to get better.
My performance was probably a C-. And once I started opening up on him, I started feeling wilt, started feeling break, and that's what I do with guys. One day, I will be king of this division.
And for many fighters, a loss like that would be the pinnacle of their story. But for Leon, this was just the beginning. Over the years, all of the attention was fixated on the Nigerian Nightmare as he rose up and beat all of the top contenders in the welterweight division. And the world was fixated as he engaged in memorable rivalries with Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal. He defeated them both twice.
Kamaru, who's a fucking nightmare, man. No one is calling that guy's name.
Leon had a big moment to prove his skill set against a top contender, Bilal Muhammad. Unfortunately, the fight was stopped in round 2 due to an eye poke. The fight was declared a no contest.
I really apologize, but I rather a loss than that, you know. I'm just heartbroken. I don't know what to say.
It was like to win anywhere.
No. You had been kind of ignored by a lot of fans. Here you are, you have this long layoff, and fights keep getting canceled, and then you finally get a fight, you're performing really well, and then this happens.
And when he finally got a chance to take on a massive name in Nate Diaz, although Leon won the fight, a last-minute rally from the Stockton legend overshadowed the great work he had done beforehand.
That's all that people were talking about afterwards, and I don't understand it. Why Leon Edwards can't get his respect.
With 10 straight wins for Leon, this set him up for a title shot against Kamaru Usman for their second fight.
It's all good, like I said.
Listen, if you look like me, you would dress like this too.
Bro, you don't like Terry Crews, bro. Your fame will definitely get into your head, and I'm humbly ass inside the night. Even sometimes I picture myself losing the fight and coming back and winning the fight. It's crazy, because what you picture in your head is what happens on the night, you know, but I always picture my hand raised at the end of it, and that's it.
So much has been said. Leon said a lot, and he truly believes that. But one thing I have to say is, taking what from who?
Leon defied all expectations in the first round by becoming the first man to take down Kamaru Usman, the ground specialist. He even secured a dominant position. As the fights progressed to rounds 2, 3 and 4, it became apparent that Leon's impressive performance in the first round was short-lived. He appeared to be fading, and even his coaches pleaded with him to make a move, as Kamaru remained dominant and confident. Despite the overwhelming odds and setbacks he had faced in his life, Leon refused to give up, and with just 1 minute left on the clock, Leon stunned the MMA world with a fake low and a high head kick that caught Kamaru Usman clean, and it looked like his soul left his body, resulting in a Rocky moment that surpassed any Sylvester Stallone movie script. And the pound-for-pound king was out cold. And in that moment, the most unlikely of UFC champions was crowned. Even in a sport as wild and unpredictable as MMA, moments as great as this rarely come around. A Rocky moment in every sense of the word.
Mom, I love you. I want to thank God, thank everybody for my mom. Like I said, she's number one, you know. She got me involved in the sport and just to keep me out of trouble. Now look, I changed our life, Mom. I told you, Mom. I told you, I did.
When you make your mom proud, that's what every son's dream is, to make your mom proud, and I did that, you know. And
I'd love to see how he comes back now, because when you think you're that great and get knocked out clean like that, you change people, you know. So let's see.
Good job, Rocky. Good job, Rocky. See you soon.
The electrifying head kick that Leon delivered sent shockwaves echoing throughout the world, instantly elevating him to a status of a superstar. Given Kamaru's history in dominating his opponents, his loss demanded an immediate rematch.
What was the excuse for the first fight?
What's the excuse for the head kick you got?
I dropped my head. What was your excuse for the 3 rounds before that, getting your head beat in?
Get your head beat in.
Your coach had to beg you. Come on, Rocky. Come on, Rock.
This man had them worse.
come on, don't make him bully you, Leon.
You're getting bullied, son. You were bullied in the first fight, and you're gonna be bullied again.
We'll
You're
see.
getting bullied, son.
We'll see.
Don't let it bully you, son.
There's just some fights where you get this feeling of you just want violence.
I've felt this feeling, this is me being fully honest, I felt this feeling maybe 3 times in my career to where I just felt violent. I wanted to be violent.
The highly anticipated third match between the two fighters unfolded in a packed-out O2 arena, with Leon finally receiving a thunderous ovation from British fans. Despite Kamaru's relentless pressure, Leon demonstrated composure and skill by foiling Kamaru's attempts to take him down. The subsequent rounds were fiercely contested, with Leon strategically targeting Kamaru's legs with a barrage of low kicks. Despite his outstanding performance, Leon's tactics of grabbing Kamaru's glove and the cage were subject to criticism, and he was penalized by the referee, who deducted a point from his score. Kamaru seemed hesitant and cautious, and Leon showed his resilience and displayed his superior striking skills, leading Leon to a victorious split decision, cementing his legacy as the king of the welterweight division. Leon's accomplishments as the first UFC champion from Birmingham has delivered a beacon of hope and inspiration for the younger generation of his community. He has demonstrated that success is achievable from individuals from all backgrounds, regardless of their origins or status. Leon's historic win is a true testament to the transformative power of hard work, dedication, and the unfaltering belief in oneself.